Warning, this video is only for 14 and up, and if you're under, please leave this video because I will not be accused of something I don't want to be accused of. Please, if you're under, leave the video. Stories go through the air. You can listen and you cannot. But stories are here to help. Understand what is right and what is wrong. But sometimes stories can do the opposite. There's no right or wrong. You have to form your own opinion. But that is not what you're here for. You're here to listen to this silly little god of this channel. Listens to his mind going on about his stories, about the different worlds where he's traveling to, and where he can make some small different in a timeline. Welcome to the Blue Mask What If channel. Hello everyone, this is Blue Mask and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys will enjoy my video, and let's begin. Hello everyone, this is Blue Mask and welcome back to another episode of What If Cranel Was a Monster Hunter. I know you guys have been enjoying my series, and it's been not a while. The last episode was like 2 episodes of my channel to go. So yeah, you are getting another one because I want to move on. Okay, last episode it was mostly about the war game going on and how it started and how it ended, with Belle and Lucy defeating all of Ishtar and Apollo's familia quickly, but had a situation with a Gormagala, a fucking dangerous monster to have in the dungeon, because of the dungeon in this kind of version is sort of alive, and if that gets affected, the crystal monsters could be affected as well. So the Gormagala is a highly dangerous dragon, or sort of elder dragon. I think it's an elder dragon type, but not an actual elder dragon. An elder dragon that should not ever go in the dungeon. So that happened last episode, but luckily for them, Sard was on the scene immediately, helping out his child and his nephew out with the fight. And with all 3 of them fighting together and using their transformation ability, transforming them into Arkveld monsters and killing the Gormagala with the help. But unluckily for Belle and Lucy, they have been sick for a couple of days now. Probably in where we're gonna start, 2 weeks. Unluckily for them, they have been sick for around 2 weeks. The frenzy virus is effective towards Belle and Lucy in their monster forms, but not in their human form, because most of the time the frenzy virus will only poison the humans that comes in contact with them. But Lucy and Belle, being in the form of monsters with the Gormagala, they get sick and poisoned, but when they transform back, they're still infected with the virus, so they have to naturally get rid of them with the immune system. They have done this beforehand, and it took way longer than just 2 weeks for them. So yeah, it's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since the whole Gormagala incident at the time I will begin. And that will be right now. So I hope you guys will enjoy this video, and let's begin. It's been 2 weeks since the whole incident with the war game and the Gormagala showing up. But we're not in the usual place for everything to start, like in the Hearth Mansion and everything else. No, we are near a fishing town, actually. We see a open sea towards the horizon, towards the ocean, and we're seeing a cart traveling to it with some sacred in front of them. Well, actually around 3 carts that is arriving at this town. This town being the fishing town of... Oh, fuck. It's the fishing town that the Loki familia goes on the Logia girls go on vacation to. So yeah, they are there doing whatever they're doing, but in front of one of the carts, we see Belle fresh and up and going at this point, doing fine as late. You see, Belle and Lucy has been sick for 2 weeks, like I said in the intro, and have not done a lot. They haven't gone hunting down in the dungeon or anything else. So after they got well 2 days ago, they still are tired and haven't moved around a lot. So they have just started to train again to get their muscles not to be asleep anymore. But they got a request from Lucy's dad and Belle's uncle to go to the town that is nearby Aurario, that is a fishing village. I know I remember the name, but I know the name, I've just forgotten it. The town near where the fishing god is. Shit, sorry. Well, Belle's uncle has set them up to go to this town to set up a version of the hunting guild from Aurario to be there to have a good connection to this village because they have gotten monster problems. You see, the stampede towards Aurario, most of the monsters went in, but some has been spreading around the Crystal Lands, but mostly around the dungeon. A couple of towns a little bit away from Aurario has asked for help from the guild to help exterminate these monsters that have been showing up, but the Hunters Guild, knowing what they're doing, have gone around to check on these monsters and explaining to the village what they are. They are not unnatural creatures, they are not monsters from the dungeon. These are living, breathing, mostly eco-friendly beings that live with nature. So they have set up a system where the hunters of the guild goes out and defeating these monsters outside. But they have also noticed that the monsters in the dungeon are actually a little bit stronger than the one that's outside. So most of the newbies, most of the newer hunters that have been joining up a lot over these past few months of being in Aurario has gone out to the outside of Aurario to fight monsters. But if they want to, they can go into the dungeon, fight crystal monsters, or if they get permission, fight normal monsters. But the town that is near the sea, the the harbor, fuck. I I have forgotten the name. I'm sorry, but the place where the Loki familiar girls went on vacation to is where they haven't gotten a lot of requests from, but some hunters has been around the area and have seen that the monster population has grown bigger than it should have. But the town is also a little bit more far away from them. So, Sword has sent out Belle and his siblings, Jack and Julie, and Lucy and her siblings, Hannah and... Wait, it was... Right, No, give me a second. Alright, I have figured out their names. It's Hannah and Shinso. That's their name. And the town of Melon. That's the name I have forgotten. I had to fucking go a long way to find that name. I have forgotten that was its actual name. It's Melon. Yeah, it's Melon. The port city Melon, near Orario. So... yeah, the port city of Melon, like I said, had some problem with monsters. What hunters has said when they arrived, well, was going near the city or through the city to come back from a hunting gig, has reported of monsters in the sea and around the city has gone too far, and the guild has to intervene at this point. So... I'm sorry I'm repeating this, because I had to stop for like 30 minutes to figure all this out. So, Sard, being the guild master of the current guild master of Orario, because there's no trained guild master, so Sard has to temporarily take over the duties. Has to assign a group of hunters to go to Melon and establish a branch of the Hunters Guild that will be there and inform everyone of the hunters and the monsters that's in the area that can be reported back to the Guild of Orario or the Hunter Guild of Orario, so they can send hunters, or the hunters that's there can defeat them. So Belle, his siblings, and Lucy and her siblings, and some other people being Aisha and the two other Amazon that has joined as well, with Arthur Pennyguard, Sanraku, Orikatsu, and Reen or Rin, I think that's her name, Reen or Rin, or Saika Zero, as her nickname is, has, well, sent off to this, and, of course, Tayona is also with them, because they have some experience with swimming under the water and holding their breath. So they are also being sent with Ice, Harime, and Lily as well, so they have some guild workers. Also with Belle's mom and dad also being sent as well. These are a lot of people, but I will remind you that Melon is not protected by hunters, and they have some huge problems, so a emergency guild building is gonna be in Melon and will be established as an outpost to the Hunter Guild so they can report monsters that needed to be hunted or just removed from the area. So after the carts are driving towards Melon, Belle was sitting in the front where his two girlfriends, his sort of sister and his little siblings and his sort of siblings, as well is in the back with their with Palico partners, and Belle's and Lucy's sacred in the front, with some of the other sacreds in the running to the side with Belle's siblings and his cousins are riding on their sacreds around this caravan to Melon so they can be established. They have also gotten the guild of Aurario, not the Hunter Guild of Aurario, but the Guild of Aurario approvement to do this. There's also sending some other guild members to confirm this and talk to the Guild of Melon, but they haven't gotten good contact with that part of the guild, that part of the branch. So they have sent employees of the guild to investigate. After a few minutes of riding, they reached the town of Melon, and the people that was there looked at, Belle and everyone arriving with confusion looks and everything else. Belle, stepping off, looked around with some of the others. So, this is Melon. Didn't expect it to look like this, Belle says, looking around the town. Yeah, it's kind of a nice vacation spot if you think about it. You don't say, Belle says, looking at his brother, Jack. By the way, Jack, did you sneak your girlfriend with us? I don't have a girlfriend. Jack, I saw you smuggle Lucia with you. She's here, yes. Which box? Our cart. The more squared one. Izuku sighed and went over to the box and just knocked on it. Lucia, get out of the box, I know you're in there. She yelled and, after some few seconds, opened the box. Sorry, Mr. Deku. Sorry, Mr. Bell. You just have to ask next time. Luckily, I have reported that you are not in Aurario anymore. Lucky for you. Yeah, that is lucky. Bell sighed and walked to the front of the cart, getting, his sacred off and making sure that it was, following him with his Palico on the tail. I think I called him Blackie. Sorry, it's been a long time since I've mentioned but the Palico's actual name. Yeah, I think his name is Blackie. Bell looked at the people looking at them with confusion, and the man and some people walks over to them, but Bell recognized the aura of a god. May I ask why you are in our port with this caravan? The man asked, looking at Bell. You must be the god, Fuck, there are so many cuts. Give me a moment. Alright, so, the god's name is Ninjord. Ninjord. It's so fucking hard to pronounce in English, but in the Nordic term, it's... Nope, don't need that. It's... Njuld. So, the god Njuld, or Ninjord, is standing in front of Bell, looking back at him. He asked, why is this caravan here in my town, in my city? Ninjord says, looking at Bell, my apologies, My name is Cranel. I am part of the Hunters Guild of Orario that has been established a few months ago after the stampede of monsters from across the mountains came into your lands and disturbed your ecosystem. So the guild has set up, and we have gotten reports of many monsters being in the area disturbing your town. We haven't got any disturbance of monsters here. You must be mistaken. Oh, we can be mistaken at some point, but there has been report from our own hunters about the hunters or monsters that has been disturbing Melon. So, that is why we're here, and will be established a hunter guild in the case of monsters being around and disturbing your town. Like I said, there's no problem here. Are you sure? Yes. So not a blue kind of monsters that spew electricity across the lake is a problem? Or a pink purplish kind of monster that spews kind of soapy liquids? There has been report of monsters like that, but only a few times. Yes, those are monsters that the Hunters Guild are gonna observe. Those monsters will be watched over and checked of their patterns in this area. That's why the Hunter Guilds are here, being established as a base camp here in your city. And some members of the guild also have arrived to establish that portion. Ninjord wanted to talk more, but one of his members, Bell, figured that it could be the captain, talked. Ninjord, it has become a problem of new monsters arriving around the town and the sea. Even though they have quelled the monsters' population in the ocean, they have still become a problem. I know, but we will handle it. And in the contrary, you can't. How's that? Well, from the records of your familiar members, you have around 2 level 3s. May I be correct about that? Yes. Yeah, we ranked our monsters 4 stars, and a level 3 is around a 2-star monster. And the blue Leviathan thing that's in your sea, and the purple one can be around a level 5-star monster. You're saying it's very powerful for the adventurers that are here, so that's why we're here being established. I will set up a meeting with the mayor and the head of this guild's branch in a couple of hours. Will that be alright? Yes. But I'm not the one that is actually there. I'm just here to inform you. She will arrive in the meeting and talk to you about the situation. Until then, you will see us hunters around checking out everything and making sure that everything will be alright. Bell says, looking at the god that nodded at this. Alright, thank you. Bell saw the god and his familiar members walking off with eyes walking up to him. That's... there... Fuck. No... 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 Fuck, I cannot pronounce his name. No... North. North. No, it's... Fuck, forget it. The god walks off and Ice walked up to him. So, the god has a little problem with us. Though, mostly about the Hunters Guild. But we have to establish us here, and that's what our mission is. So, he needs to work with us or work against us. That's gonna be hard. Luckily for us, maybe. Oh, no, my mistake, guys. Unluckily for us, if that happened, yes. Luckily for us, he will work with us and his boats. He is the fishing god. Well, he's the god that looks over fishing and stuff, so yeah. That is true. Ice says, looking at her partner. So, what now? Now we have to find a building we can buy. That's why we're going to build. Bell says, looking over at his mother that is talking to the guild members that has arrived, being a green-haired male elf with a respectful attitude towards Belle's mother, and a red-haired fox woman that is also, or red-haired wolf person that is also with them, talking to Miteria. Sorry. I'm sorry. And Belle's father, Emerald, or Silver. I think Silver is his name. I called him Silver. So Belle's father, Silver, and his mother, Miteria, was talking to the guild members that has arrived with, well, the hunters. After them talking, Miteria and Silver walked off with the guild members, and Belle followed them as well, with Ice doing the same thing, being a high-ranking adventurer and a high-ranking hunter walking with them. After some few moments, they arrived at the small guild building that is in Melon. Walking in, they see a receptionist, well, recording down some few things at the table with around 2 members also writing some stuff down. Excuse me. The receptionist looked up at Miteria and smiled with a kind of small fake smile. Yes, how may I help you? I am here to talk to the guild, well, the guild leader of this branch, of acquiring a small house for the Hunters Guild that will be remaining here in Melon. I'm sorry, but the head guild master of this branch is quite busy at the moment. How so? The green-haired male elf walked forward and standing in front of, well, the receptionist. Oh, Mr. So like an Mr. Lee Font. Mr. Lee Font, I didn't know you were here. I can talk to the guild leader. Please do it quickly. It is quite important. I wanted to talk to him about some matters that has come up. Of course, right away. The receptionist stood up and walked immediately into well, into the back and over to a door, knocking on it and walking in without any come in what they could hear. After some few moments, the receptionist come out afterwards. He will be here in a few moments. He is quite busy with the mayor of the town. Oh, that is quite the coincidence. I will have a meeting with him, even though they didn't know yet, about some few things. The receptionist nodded and sat down and doing her paperwork again. Belle walking over to a book sample that was... Belle walking behind the counters with one of the guild members of Melon noticing him. You can't be behind the counter, sir. Don't worry, I just needed the reports for the couple of months. This one, and this one. Belle took the books down from the reports and looked through them. Sir, you can't look through. Let him read. The Lee Fun says as looking at the guild member that stopped for a moment and then nodded. Belle looked through the whole library of information of the guild and noticing that some few reports has come in about a few monsters from some civilians that was walking in and out of Melon and through the harbor, but they have been written off as imagination and not existence of current monster records of the sea and land monsters that was nearby. May I ask why is some of these not reported to the main head of the guild about these so-called imaginary monsters? Belle says, sorry, may I ask, I have to do this because my mic got cut off. May I ask, why is there's no one sent a letter to the guild about these imaginary monsters that is not real? Belle says, looking at the same guy, trying to stop him. It was the guild master's order of not reporting these monsters. He said it was impossible, but he hasn't checked them out. He's mostly in his office or his house. You're telling us? Well, to be honest, sir, he's quite annoying as a guild master and has been competent. He's not perfect at this. Belle listening to the member that just complained about his guild leader of this branch. Got it, so he needs to be reprimanded. Any death counts I can look at? There have seemed to be some incidents. About 50 injured, some of them are still alive. Around 10 dead in the sea. None in mainland. One of the members says, looking at Belle. So, huge problem. Doesn't seem imaginary. Your guildmaster must be very smart. Belle says, looking at these reports he's looking through with eyes, and his dad doing the same. I mean, this is just incompetent. I mean, seriously. Multiple people spotted a blue Leviathan thing in the cross of the sea nearby the harbor. No reports to the mainline guild in Aurario. Like I said, he's incompetent. A fool. Fat elf. Like Royman? Belle says, looking at the human goat. No, the human cat that was standing there. Or the cat person, or the cat beast that was standing, well, of the receptionist looking at Belle. Yes, but more more not smart. After that remark, the door opens in the back, and a man with a white beard and a fisherman's outfit walks out looking pissed, and was about to walk out, noticing the group of hunters, Bell wearing his armor and Eyes wearing hers, looking at them in surprise. That's unusual. You must be the mayor then. I heard you was in a meeting with the guild leader here. Levi says, fuck, I said Levi. Levi says, walking over to the mayor. Yes, I was. You a new member of this dumb elf staff? Quite the contrary. My name is Levi. I'm from the main guild of Aurario. Come out to the report of a new established hunter guild will be forming here in Melon to report a mysterious sighting of monsters, not the crystal monsters we are used to here. New term for monsters? The man asked in confusion. Yes and no. Well, further on confusion one, the monsters, or the new title of monsters, is biological creatures from different part of the world that has evolved into, well, different kind of species of what they call monsters. Crystal monsters are artificial crystals, being that is born from the dungeon or have left the dungeon to create their own, well, line of monsters. I see. You're not gonna be the fat elf that's in there? May I remind you that I am the guild's leader here? A brown-haired, very fat elf walked out of the office in the back. And why are you here then? The man said, well, the elf says, walking over to the guild member that is here. If you heard me, yes, I heard you. Please get on with it. I have many things to do. Yeah, of course you do. Well, the guild has required me to come here to inform you that a new branch of the guild will be established here. And for the sake of that, we come here to the guild to be informed of the incident, but we have heard some reports of monsters that are fictional. Yes, most of the population have assumed they have seen weird leviathans in the sea and weird big monsters around the town, but I won't believe it until I see it. And until then, they will only be fictional. Well, that seems like enough. Anyways, to your incompetent, to your idiocracy of not reporting this to the guild, you will be henceforth announced as the guild leader here. You will not do anything until you will be going back to Arroyo to be answered by the roarment of your incompetent not reporting these incidents of almost 50 injuries and 10 dead. You cannot do this. I am and always will be the... Sorry. I'm trying to get my chair back. Yeah. There we go. sorry, until you arrive back at Aurario to Royman's office, where you can be recommended to be fired for 50 injured and 10 dead. Will you understand your punishment? If you refuse, they will be more dangerous. The guild member says, looking at the fat elf in front of him that looks surprised at his idiocracy of ideas. Preposterous. I will become and always will be the leader here. For you don't mind, I want you out of my guild branch. And that will be impossible, because these are mainlight orders above Royman. Above Royman, that is impossible. There's no one above Royman. Above Royman. There is. The god of the guild has informed us to do this. And if you don't comply, you will be arrested at this point in time. How so? Well, for the lovely gentleman and lady over there, that is the Sword Princess herself, a level 6 adventurer, and the famous transforming monster man, or the monster heart, Cranel, a level 6 hunter of the Hunters Guild of Aurario. If you won't comply, they will be putting cuffs on you and be dragging you back to Aurario. Now comply with this, leave the office, and go back to your home, where you will be sitting on your ass for a couple of days before you will be shipped back to Aurario. Levi says, as looking at the man that was just quiet. Now, if you don't mind, I will check out your office for any reports that I need. You cannot go in there! The man says, walking in front. Well, the elf says, walking in front of the other elf, but he was shoved aside by the other one. I says, Bell stopped him and just grabbed him around the collar. You will be leaving the guild. Go back to your home and be ready to be picked up tomorrow. Bell grabbed him and threw him out of the guild headquarters, with people seeing him doing this. Bell walked back from the door, with the mayor just surprised at the fucking meltdown. You're here to... Wait, what exactly is a monster hunter? Bell looked at the man. Monster hunters are people that has been trained to hunt these monsters that you have 50 injured and 10 dead. They will hunt them to minimal erection, because we want unity with the monsters, not exterminate them. So you will not hunt them to death. Oh, no. Right now, they're permanently in the ecosystem. If we're gonna remove them or kill them, that will be doom for all. Bell says, looking at the mayor. I see. The mayor looked out of the window at his town. Quite luckily that you arrived. I can get you some reports that we will be set up for you. How long do you need? A couple of days, or actually, if we're gonna help you build up your defenses towards these monsters. Thank you for the help then. I will be informing Jorn about this development. And that will be fine. He did inform us that he will have a meeting with you and the former guild master, but now it's the new guild master. I see. The mayor walked out of the guild building saying goodbye to everyone. Bell, looking at his father and mother that was, well, getting a building from the guild members that is now doing actual fucking work. Because they have been mostly lazy around the guild because of their guild master. Now that this is happening, they're doing all what they can to help. Bell, after some few moments, was giving a location of a building, and Bell nodded at this. Walking out, Bell informed the caravan to go to that building, and everyone arrived at it. Being a 3-story house with around a abandoned kind of motel or bar with a 3-story building with a 3-story building with a kind of bar situation in the underworld. On the first floor, where is the guild, where they're gonna turn the reception into the guild hall. And in the back in the back was a abandoned kind of kitchen area or a bar area where a kitchen staff could be. Upstairs were hotel rooms that was quite big, with that looks like 2 beds and a bathroom and a closet. These will be turned into hunter rooms and everything else. Bell helping out and walking around making sure that everything was okay. After like an hour of checking the building out and every single room, throwing out old stuff, cleaning up as best as they can, with palicos rushing around and everything else, Bell went downstairs when he sees this kitchen staff walking in, being, "Thank you for helping us, Mamma Mia," Bell says, walking over to the big-ass dwarf that was walking in with her, well, hostess of facility girls. "You're paying us very good money to do this, so I'm happy to help you guys," Mamma Mia says, smiling at Bell. "Yes, and I must apologize for this, but our main, cooks back home they're preparing a lot of food, and it's kind of chaos now when we have found out that a birthing season of a particularly annoying monster being reported to be en masse in the dungeon. So, unluckily for us, they couldn't come with us." Yes, I did understand that, and I'm quite happy. Maybe we can get some new recipes about fish and oyster, maybe crabs. Maybe, Bell says, smiling at Mamma Mia that smiled back. Bell helped out the hostess of facility staff with the supplies and everything else. With Ryu, well, Bell noticing that Ryu is mostly a fighter kind of person, and most of the staff are, except for Seer. Bell, noticing the feeling of Seer, kind of gets confused because it was half divinity, half human, in a sense. If I was right, but by the way, if I was right, I said that Was it in this one that I said that Seer is still Freya and Horn? Because I think I said that. I think I said that Seer was actually a twin of Horn in the What If Belcranel was an item maker. I think I said that there, but if I'm mistaken, I will fix it if I'm wrong. Belle smiled at Seer that smiled back after he gave some ingredients to her. Belle also checked some more things out and spotted an old abandoned smith right across from, well, the new guild hall. Walking over to it and jumping over the counter with the people watching him in surprise, Belle checked out the smithy and everything else that was in there, and check out the old, well, smithing stuff and how old they were, where a man walked over to him and yelled at him, "Oi, what are you doing in my smithy?" Belle looked back to see the guy walking into the building. "Ah, sorry man. Just checking out this building. Is this actually a smithy?" "Yeah, it used to be an old adventurers building before most of them left to be fishermen and going to Aurario. My father owned this, but we had to shut it down," he says, looking at Belle with angry looks. "Oh, is that the case?" Belle walked over to the entrance of the smithy and yelled out to one of the carts, "Oi, Handsome!" Handsome looked out of one of the carts with, well, taking out some materials. "Yeah, what did you do?" "Oh, you have found me a smithy!" May hopped out of the cart and rushed over to the smithy, checking it out. Oh ho ho ho! She used her glasses to look into the smithy and the tools, with the man getting more angrier. "Oi, girl, this is not just something you can pick up." "Ah, you must be the smithy of this place. Must be abandoned, though. It hasn't been used that much over the years. Only been turned off a few years ago. Nothing much to do here." "Well, lucky for you, the Hunters Guild will be using a lot of smithing materials here now," May says, smiling at the man. "What are you talking about?" "Ah, I forgot to introduce myself. May Hatsume, a great smithy of the Hunters Guild of Aurario. I'm a great smithy of anything monster parts and anything related. I've even built this armor myself for little Belle here," she says, walking over to the Belle and putting her arm on Belle's shoulder, smacking Belle's armor and weapon. "You made this?" the man says, looking at the armor set. "Quite a sophisticated armor set." The man started to mumble and looking at, well, the armor set as well. And he just mutters and mutters and looking at the design and how it was forged. "Okay, sir, may I ask about your name?" Man stopped and looked at Belle. Where's my manners? My name is Hisashi Midoriya. Nice to meet you. I'm the smithy of this place. Like I said, used to. Before I only repaired stuff back at my house. Oh, you are? Well, nice to meet you, Hisashi. You know who I'm talking about. Anyways, I will let you two talk about some stuff. Wealth! Belle yelled out and looked at Wealth that peeked his head out. Get over here and help this guy and May out. Yes, sir. Well smiled at Bell and started to take out a few material, rushing over to the smithy with some other members coming over as well. The civilian looked at the whole situation and looking at this with surprising how the hunters just came in and did a whole bunch of new stuff. Bell smiled at the civilians and walked back over to the guild and walking in. Well, the new guild headquarters. A few hours later, Miteria was right now in the meeting with the new guild head and the mayor and the god of, well, the god of Melon being ninjured. So, let's get this straight. The previous guild head is now under house arrest from his dumb idiotic to not report any of the monsters that has been spotted, being... oh shoot. Being a blue-haired Leviathan as reported, pink-haired Leviathan, a fish with legs, a giant monsters with 2 big legs and small arms with a kind of blow or a kind of crown for a head being spotted nearby with more stuff as well, being that a variant of a monster has also been appearing, a new kind that has appeared in this area has also been spotted. But also some reports from one civilian about a green vine monster that he has never seen before, that was killed by a blue Leviathan. These reports are significant with some monsters, except for this variant that we haven't discovered, of a bluish kind of scaly armor set that looks like a worm with legs and spikes on its body. That sounds like another monster, but a water variant. Literally this time. Miteria looked at multiple reports of this. To be sure, the guild will do anything in its power to get this on the way. Thank you for the help then. The mayor says, looking at Miteria. I'm not sure what would have happened if you haven't arrived. The monsters that we have reported has gotten closer than it should. And we will fix it. Miteria looked at the mayor and smiled. The Hunters Guilds are here to protect the civilians of your town, but also will make sure that your ecosystem of the fish life, the plant lives, and anything around the forest of Melon will be living. Thank you, then. The mayor smiled at Miteria and she smiled back. And that is gonna be it for this short video. I know it's very short than usual, but I wanted to set this up. I wanted to do some more things, but being this setup of a new arc of the series, I hope you guys will enjoy this and will enjoy the ideas I will come up with. The votes has come out, by the way. They are: what if Bell Cranel was an item maker? What if Deku was a monster hunter? What if Deku owned a Freddy Fazbear's? The vote is out. Please leave your vote of what you will want me to talk about. I will report that the What If Deku owned a Freddy Fazbear series will end in like 3 or 4 episodes. It's a series that with no actual villain, so there's nothing to push them forward. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And the Q&A video I will still make. I will explain it because I haven't explained the actual rules. The rules will be, well, in where I post my votes. You can scroll down, find the Q&A post, and leave a comment. You can leave 2 comments. The rules are very specific. You can see them as you might. And I hope you guys will enjoy this series. Good morning, goodbye, farewell, see you later. Have a wonderful, 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 wonderful time. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Melon Melon Arc. Bye bye!